Hello, welcome back to my Over the Board quad, where I played two little kids and hopefully won both games. This game happened a little over a week ago. This video will probably post on a Tuesday after I edit. And I played black here, hence why it says 1271 versus me rather than me versus 1282. I played black, and here's a little lore. I had just finished my second round game when my third round opponent told the tournament directors that that my game had finished. I was given about 2 minutes in between rounds while trying to analyze the previous game. Luckily, I had black here, so my opponent couldn't capitalize on any of the mistakes that I made or didn't make as white in the previous game. And so I was analyzing. Had my phone open in the outside the playing hall. I was trying to analyze the previous game, and I got called for the next game. It had been about 25 minutes since the first round ended, maybe a little longer. And my opponent was as rested as a 7-year-old could be, or however old he was. So, yeah, I was feeling pretty confident going in. I didn't know who he was going to play, but I thought it would be 1e4, which makes sense because he played the Scotch as white. This is the kid who played white in the game that I watched, I believe. Anyway, he opened with e4. I played e5. He played knight f3. I played knight c6 as I do. Bishop c4 with the Italian, and I went for a two knights defense. And apparently little kids like the fried liver. He went knight g5. And of course, the only response here is d5, which is, a book move according to Lichess Tools. And as you can see in the bottom here, Italian game, two knights defense, knight attack, normal variation. Actually, that could be covered by my camera. Anyway, ed5, which is the main move. I played knight d4, which is the Fritz variation. I'm just looking to play b5 here, actually, and kick the bishop away. Opponent played c3. I followed with my plan of b5. They made a mistake. They should have played bishop f1, but few people know bishop f1. I took on c4. They took on e5. I can take on d5 with a knight, attacking their knight, but after knight f3, they're fine. Or even d4. However, I had done a little research. I've played knight d5 most of the time here, and I played queen d5. Queen d5 pins this pawn to the knight, so if they take, then I take, and then they take, and then I take, and I get the bishop. I get the queen pressuring. They can't play d4 because they just take on g2, and I also can put the bishop on b7 unless they play queen e2. In which case, I'd probably just play king d8 and rook 2, e8. Anyway, none of that happened. They play knight f3, and I missed an opportunity here. I can play queen e4 and force the queens off the board. Queen e2 is, of course, not desirable because we would just trade queens. And apparently, this pawn is good enough to restrict them from developing, and really quite annoying. They can't even play knight a3 to win it because I would just take. So they played. So I could have traded queens. I did not want to trade queens. I wanted to beat my opponent in an endgame. Kids are notoriously bad at endgames, especially at my level. I played knight g4. It's a mistake. My opponent's better. They can play knight c3, and here I also made a mistake. This is my biggest mistake of the game. I played queen e6. Actually, no, sorry. Knight g4 is the biggest mistake of the game. Queen e6 is fine. Not the best move, as I recall. They castled, which is a bit of a mistake, I'd say. They can't exactly play h3 because I'd play h5, fishing pole. But here I played bishop e7, pressuring the knight on f3 and possibly the g2 pawn behind it. They played knight b5, which I just felt was a mistake. I just didn't look like a one move threat. They can take on c7, sure, but I'm just going to castle and give up a7, and all this time you spend moving your knight back and forth, and I can play bishop to c5 as well. So I can castle and play bishop c5, and you have the same position, but I just don't have an a7 pawn. Anyway, I castled, which is the best move, and I'm now better. They played rook e1. I played a6, which is inaccurate. They wanted to play knight to d4, but they wanted to play this knight to d4. So I'm better here, as you can see by the eval bar. They played knight b to d4. I played queen g6, which is pressuring this g2 pawn and the king. They played queen a4, which is a mistake. And then I can now take on d4 actually with the rook. But I can also play bishop c5, which is equally good. They took on c4, which is a mistake. I can take with either piece actually, but I chose to the bishop. They took with the knight, and here I sacrificed, well, I could have sacrificed the rook, I guess, but I chose not to. I took on e5 with the knight. Apparently it was even better to go to e3, but I was thinking, hey, I can open up lines. I can go to f3. I completely prevent knight f3, but here I was just, winning g2 and preventing queen f1. Opponent played queen f1, and now I'm given an accuracy for the next move. I don't see why. It just wins a piece by force or the exchange. I play knight d3, which the engine doesn't like. It's like it said I was like -7. Now I'm not. Now I'm -4. It doesn't make a difference, I don't think. But to some it might. They played knight f3, which was a mistake. I didn't even see knight c2 in the game. And actually, here they'd offered me a draw. I shook my head. I was like, no. Yeah, no draw. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to go home, analyze my games, take a nap or something. Well, I didn't take a nap, but maybe go back to volunteering at the food pantry. They played knight f3. I took, and they're just down a piece for a pawn here. They're getting checkmated. They can't even move the queen out. They're gonna lose the rook, or they're gonna play rook e3 and get destroyed. Or maybe not even knight f4, just like knight c5. Actually, they can't even do that. I can just play rook e8, takes, and then I'm still threatening g2. Anyway, they resigned here, and as you can see, I won my first game, won my second game, won my third game. This game was with white, so it's one show. But fun games, fun times. I'm up 50 points from this tournament, so I'm closer to 1300. Not than ever before, but than I was, before I started. Closer to 1300 than I've been all year. And I'm looking forward to playing on Saturday. Possibly. Well, catch you around. I'll be streaming live on Twitch at some point, so hope to see you there.